let your yes mean yes, and your no mean no. This is what Jesus says in today's gospel. Sometimes, however, the choice is not only between a yes and a no. Have you ever experienced inviting someone and the answer is neither a yes or a no? Sometimes the answer is, titignan ko. I will see. Or, best effort, sisikapin ko. Meaning, I'm not promising anything, but I will try my best. That's at least closer to a yes, but not yet really a yes. I must confess to you that sometimes I am guilty of that myself, especially when my schedule is full, but I try to negotiate for an adjustment, and it is not always possible. The real problem is sometimes people will not answer with a yes or a no. In Tagalog, isa sa mga nakakainis na sagot ay yung kwan. You know, there is a cartoon character who has been created as a caricature of people who answer that way. The equivalent in English of kwan is Smurf. I will smurf you when I smurf my smurf. I have a feeling that the name Smurf was intended to be the opposite of smart. Namely, those who are condemned to a life of indecisiveness. Indecisiveness is also a choice by itself. When you can neither say yes or no, when you cannot make a commitment, you make a decision to live a non-committal life. There are many people who live their lives this way. They cannot make up their minds. Usually, it is because they don't want to displease anybody. They want to remain acceptable to everyone, and they think they can achieve it by staying neutral. They don't want to take sides. They stay in the middle of the road, which is actually the most dangerous side. People like these do not realize that if you don't decide, others will decide for you. It means you have surrendered your will to the mindless herd that is just flowing with the tide. The capacity to make a decision is something very important, something that gives us identity. It was the very first lesson in discipleship that Elisha, in our first reading, had to learn from his teacher and master, the prophet Elijah. There was no way he could wear the cloak of his master Elijah and succeed him if he could not even make up his mind. Well, what was Elisha asking for, you might ask? The request to say goodbye to his parents is not really an unreasonable request, is it? But we get what it really means in the gospel, where a man said to Jesus, I will follow you, but first let me bury my father. Hey, what was the reaction of Jesus? His reply was, leave the dead to bury the dead. You know, I found it a bit unreasonable at the start. You know, I used to react negatively to the reply of Jesus until a Bible scholar explained it to me. You know what the man was really saying was, let me wait until my parents have died already. By then, maybe I could make up my mind to follow you. Meaning, his father was still alive. Sometimes parents could also be a reason why some children cannot make up their minds about their vocation and their mission, and they end up living unhappy lives. Some people say they cannot decide because they want to make sure that they're not making a wrong decision. It sounds reasonable, di ba? But not when it takes you forever. Not when it takes forever to make the decision. Part of the process of making the right decisions in life is precisely the experience of making wrong decisions sometimes and knowing the terrible consequences that can go with them. But the mistakes of the past, hopefully, will make you more capable of making better decisions in the future. You know, in Hebrew, the word davar, that is the word for word, it can mean many things. It can refer to thought, to speech, or to action, or circumstance in life. But when it applies to God's word, it is always the same. Meaning, God's word is one. It is not fragmented. It also means we become truly images of God when we learn to be persons of one word. When we can reconcile thought with speech and speech with action. Because when there is a disparity, then you become a liar or a traitor or someone who cannot keep promises. In Spanish, they call it palabra de honor, a word of honor. Or the singular word is simply integridad, which has also been Filipinized. Kasi Tagalog na rin ang integridad. Meaning, a person whose thought, speech, and action are integrated and not fragmented. Just now, the poem that comes to my mind is a poem I've quoted once also before. Robert Frost's The Road Not Taken. I was watching an interview of a literary critic recently on BBC, commenting that this famous piece of poetry is very commonly misunderstood, perhaps because of its title. He said, "This poem is not about making an adventurous or untypical or an unfamous decision. You have to go back to the final line to get the sense of it. And I took the road less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." What made the difference? Not the road that he chose, but the fact that he made the decision. This is not about the boldness to follow an unfamiliar path. It could be the other one too. But he made a choice. It's about the determination to make a decision. Today, brothers and sisters, we're also celebrating St. Anthony of Padua, a great preacher, a man who they say could command the attention of kings and paupers, of adults and children, of the educated and the uneducated. What a gifted preacher he must have been. He is also famously regarded as the patron saint of the lost. No, we're not talking about lost items, you know. It's a lot easier to find things when they get lost. No. I think we're talking about people who are lost. And among these people, I would include people who are incapable of decision. Good decisions are those that are informed by experience, understanding, prayer, and discernment. Decisions made in conscience can never be sinful, even when they can be wrong sometimes, as when the conscience is not well informed. But they are at least not made in bad will, but with a sincere desire to make a good decision. In the Old Testament, there is a story that illustrates our point beautifully in a metaphorical way. It is about what happened to the wife of Lot, the nephew of Abraham. Through Abraham's intervention, God took pity on Lot's family. They were guided by the angel to flee the town where they lived because it was going to be destroyed. The angel said to the family of Lot, "Run for your lives. Run straight ahead to the mountains and don't look back." And what happened? Lot's wife looked back. What happened to her? She turned into a pillar of salt. You see, it is a value to look back in the sense of being grateful. Di ba sinasabi natin yon? Ang di marunong lumingon sa pinanggalingan, hindi makararating sa paruroonan. Pero yung kabaliktaran is a disvalue. Ang lingon ng lingon sa pinanggalingan, hindi rin makararating sa paruroonan. It is also a disvalue to keep looking back in the sense of getting stuck, of staying undecided, staying uncommitted.